Hey guys, Rudy here. If this is your first time here, we're all about games, tech, and we kind of do reactions from time to time. So let's go ahead and get into it. Today, I want to talk to you about the GB operator from Epilogue, and there's a lot of pros and cons to it. First though, shout out to Rain. Thank you for letting me know about this. I had no idea that this existed. So when I found out that it existed, I reached out to Epilogue and I asked for a review unit. They sent it our way. No money was exchanged. They have no idea of the footage in this review, but I did want to go ahead and let you know also that I've been sitting on this thing for months. I got this in fall of 2021, and I've literally just been sitting on it. I haven't had an opportunity to actually sit down, write a script for a review, and talk to you guys about it. That being said, I do want to talk about my likes. I want to talk about my dislikes and whether or not I would actually recommend this to anyone, because this is for a very specific niche group of people. So let's just go ahead and get into it. 2GR. First and foremost, I want to talk about our likes. Mainly, I want you to smash that like button. That way I can give my cat some kibble. The more that you smash the like button, the more kibble she'll get. She's a fat cat. She likes kibble. No, in all seriousness, guys, I want to talk to you about the ease of use of this thing. This thing is actually pretty awesome. In the box, you're going to get the GB operator itself alongside with a USB-C to USB-A cable and a little bit of paperwork just to kind of, show you the ins and outs of things. But I originally thought that I could just plug this into my PC and start playing, that I could just plug it in and it would read the cartridge and I would just play my game. Unfortunately, I quickly realized that I needed to download a proprietary software from Epilogue, and there's some things that I don't like about that and some things that I do like about that, and I'll talk about that later on in the video. But just know that it's not just plug and play. You need to download their software in order to actually run that on your computer. When it comes to price, it's $49 USD, which really isn't that expensive in the grand scheme of things. But at the same time, I do know that that might be out of the price market for some people that are just looking to play Game Boy games on their computer or relive older memories from their childhood, like me. But overall, it is 100% worth it in my opinion when it comes to $49. That price point is just, it's easily digestible. I can go ahead and justify that purchase if they did not send this my way. There are a ton of features, but many of them are tied to the software. So for example, you can upload or download specific saves. So let's say you're playing Pokemon Yellow version and you want to go ahead and make sure that you're the very best. So you are like no one ever was, and you download that save file online and you upload it onto the cartridge. Then all of a sudden you have all 151 and you are truly a Pokemon master. Not really, but kind of. That's one of the things that you can go ahead and do. Overall though, there are custom button layouts that you can do. I do highly recommend using an Xbox controller or an SN30 Pro or even a Switch Pro controller, just something so that you can go ahead and play these games with an actual controller. Using the keyboard is weird. You cannot rebind keys for the keyboard as of right now. I'm sure that that's something that's going to happen later on, but as of right now, you need to use their basic keyboard layout that kind of changes how things are laid out naturally. So I would definitely recommend using a controller on this. One of the nifty little features is that there is a counterfeit authentication. I don't have any counterfeit cartridges, but if let's say you were to buy a cartridge on eBay and it was surprisingly $20 for a very rare game, first off, chances are it's bootleg, but secondly, the cartridge will read as counterfeit in the software itself. I don't know if it's going to run the game regardless. My assumption is yes, but I don't know. It is still a nifty little feature that I do like, but it's just a nice to have. It's not a must have. As of version 0.8 of the beta software, there is a fast forward option. You can control the volume within the emulator itself, and you can also go ahead and kind of pause and play however you want to go ahead and see for the game. So if you're in the middle of a cutscene, you can literally pause the gameplay, or if you're playing like an RTS or whatever it may be, you can literally pause what's happening no matter what and just pause the emulation and then go from there. I do want to go ahead and let you know, speaking of emulation, that the cartridge is not actually being read on the cartridge reader. This is actually a form of authentication. The ROM is being ripped from the cartridge itself and is being emulated through the software on your computer. So this is something that has pros and cons to it, but overall, I kind of like it. I think it's fine. It's something that, doesn't really hinder the experience for me per se, but it's not that much different from getting mGBA and literally just uploading any ROM into the emulator and having it run from there. Let's talk about things that I don't like. I really don't like the fact that there is a proprietary software that's needed in order to actually run this cartridge reader. Now, the reason why I don't like that is because I would love to be able to go ahead and get this cartridge reader, plug it into my TV downstairs, and blow up my yellow version of Pokemon on a 4K TV. That would be awesome, but lo and behold, that's not the case. You need to have a PC and you need to have that exact software from Epilog in order to run this. If people have been able to go ahead and get this cartridge reader to run on other emulators, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to go ahead and see that firsthand. I never got around to it, never had a chance to actually experiment with mGBA aside from just getting specific ROMs and seeing how that performed in comparison to the GB operator's Epilog software. One thing that I do want to go ahead and say is that at the time of this recording, there are no competitors that I know of. There was one main one that Bob from Wolf Den went ahead and covered. It was called the GB01 from Submodule, and essentially it did the same exact thing as this. It just wasn't in a pretty housing like this. It was literally just a PCB with a card reader on the side, and you know, it worked. It seemed pretty and it seemed like it did the job, but in the grand scheme of things, they are no longer in business, and it kind of sucks because the support for their hardware and their current clients is minimal, if at all. There have been talks of getting their software and making it open source just so that fans of the software and the hardware overall can keep things going and keep the community alive. If you want to go ahead and get a GB01, you're going to have to go to a third-party place like eBay or maybe Amazon and just see if you can buy it from a third-party seller. I did not get a chance to buy that myself. When it was being sold, it was being sold for 45 euros. I don't know if the price has changed, if at all, with third-party sellers. Another thing that I don't really like about it is that the roadmap has gotten somewhat hazy. When I originally got this piece of hardware, they had a roadmap on their website with specific dates listed on when they were going to release specific features for the software. And that could have come out in terms of like updates or whatever it may be for the software itself, but I digress. Now, when you go onto their website, there is no indication on when these features or updates are going to be released. So they just happen when they happen. The last one was released on April 1st, 2022, and there was a slight update that came out 4 days later. I'm assuming there were a couple of bugs that they were taking care of, but overall, they did add a lot of features that made things a lot nicer and a lot more convenient for somebody that wanted to go ahead and emulate games on their PC. There's a lot of things that I like, and there's a couple of things that I dislike, but this is something that I would ultimately recommend for anyone that is even remotely interested in this product. It really just does anything and everything that you want. You don't really need a beefy PC in order to run this stuff. I mean, we're talking about Game Boy games, guys. Like, it's not really, you're not going to need a 3080 to run this stuff. So overall, I would recommend it, especially at $49.99. This is awesome and well worth the money. But what do you guys think about it? Is this something that you would be interested in? Do you have a GB01 from Submodule? Do you have any experience with that? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts, and make sure that you smash that like button so I could give more kibble to my cat, Ginger. Anyways, guys, I'll see you on the next one. Peace.
Hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more and stay up to date, subscribe, hit the little bell, and join our Discord.
If you want to support the channel, please check out our Patreon or hit the join button below. As always, thanks for your support and thanks for watching.